All right, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So I was sitting here thinking, I took Sunday off, and I was like, what am I gonna record for the channel today? And I did a reaction, and I don't do reactions on this channel. I do them on my second channel, DUBESS, for those of you that aren't already subscribed. And I recorded a reaction video, 42 minutes long. Unfortunately, there were 2 pages open for OBS, and the one that recorded was the one where I wasn't on. You could only see YouTube. So there went that. And I have some things I need to take care of today, and I don't know how long it's going to take. So I said, you know what? Let me tell a story about something that I saw and was a part of in prison. To me, it's a crazy story, and I think you guys may enjoy it. So I was in Ad Seg. I was in the hole in New Folsom, 1996, right? And 2 vatos came up into the cell above me, right? And they start fighting. They were there probably about 20, 30 minutes. And I heard the homies, hey, shoot your linea, make a linea and shoot it out here. And they did. And then they got the huila back and boom, started fighting in the cell. And I want to say they fought, man, for 4 or 5 hours straight. You could just hear them going. Boom, 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 boom. You know, when you're fighting like that, you get tired and you take breaks. And you go again. Boom, 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 boom. And they were going. So the homies shoot us a huila because we're like, hey, what's going on up there? And they said, oh, well, one of them, I'm going to say his name. I'm not going to say his neighborhood. The vato's name was Veneno, right? And they said, one of the homies in the cell said, hey, I was in the county jail with this vato Veneno, and he had a bad case. He said, the thing is, the case was his brother's case, but they both got convicted of it. And it was a rape case, right? So he's like, until that vato fixes that paperwork and clears it, with who he has to clear it with, it's got to get an issue. So finally, the Juras happened to go by, and they're still going at it. Now, if I remember right, they had came from Old Folsom. So I think that's why the Sally that jumped on Veneno, I think that's why he didn't use a piece. He was about to go home. I don't know. I wasn't involved in the huila that went in there. But so that's what happened. So they separate the 2. Neither one of them made a statement. They separate the 2. In Ad Seg in New Folsom at that time, I was assigned to Yard Group 1. That's when we were still getting Group Yard. Now, the Southern Raza and whites and if Bulldogs went back there, they were normally in 6 block, but if they came back there, they would go. We were assigned to yards 1, 3, and 5. The Northern Raza and blacks and others had, what was it, 2, 4, and 7, if I remember right. Some 2, 4, and 6, 2, 4, and 6, I think. But I think though, anyways, doesn't matter. Those are just random details, right? Well, Yard Group 1, the yard that I was on, it just so happened that there were always pegadas happening. There was always hits going down on our yard. And because there was always vatos getting hit, there was always an open slot available on our yard. And that's why it just happens like that. When somebody comes and, they get assigned to that yard. And if they got something coming, they get it, right? So we had a thing there, and I'll talk about it because they don't have group yard like that anymore, and I doubt this goes down. But in Ad Seg, you didn't have in that Ad Seg, you didn't have razors, right? And so when you went to yard, you had access to the hair clippers. It usually took you about 10 days to get cleared for yard. And in those 10 days, your hair starts growing out. So the first thing you want is you want to shave your head. You want to feel clean, right? You want to shave your head and shit. And if you had an issue coming, your guard was going to be down, especially if you didn't know. And haircuts were very dangerous. So, like I said, that Vato Veneno, him and his Sally got in a fight. They got separated. Veneno stayed in our section. And unfortunately for him, he was assigned to Yard Group 1 when he went to committee, right? So he goes to Yard, boom. Everybody goes out to Yard and Rutina time. Everybody busts down. And you know, that was the thing about group yards, man. When somebody had it coming, you know, you wanted to work them out and get the heart rate up, get the blood pumping. As soon as the Rutina was over, Veneno was approached like, hey, homie, it's your first yard out. And, you know, I'm sure you want your haircut, you know, and somebody said, hey, I'll cut your hair for you. Right? And he's like, okay, gracias. So he's getting his hair cut, you know, his head shaved, making small talk. And then it was, hey, let's go over to the toilet and I'll rinse the hair off of your head for you. Hey, okay, gracias. So Veneno and someone walked over to the faucet, the sink, right? And Veneno bent over, his head over the toilet, put both hands on his knees. Completely off guard, right? One cup of water was put on his head. While the cup was being filled, the thing came out. For the second cup of water on his head was held down and his throat was slit. And Veneno got his issue served to him, right? And I remember, for whatever reason, he went to medical and then he came back and they put him in the cell next to me and my cellie, right? And we wouldn't talk to him, you know, of course. And then he went to committee, and then that's when we wanted to know. So what did they tell you? And he said, I'm not going to lock it up. And we said, that's not what we asked you. What did they tell you? And he says, I'm going to C facility. At the time, C facility in New Folsom, the raza from down south that went over there couldn't stay there. I'm not going to get into all the details. They could be there for a second and had to get on down the road. So when he said he was going to C facility, even though he was in bad standings, he could still be manipulated and utilized. It's just the way prison is. So we told him, hey, we're going to get at you right now. And we shot kites around. Yeah. Let's go ahead and kill a couple birds with one stone then. Yeah, let's do this. So we wrote him a weed line. There was somebody that we very much wanted off of C facility. And we told him, you know, if you want to make that thing right, when you get to the yard, hit this guy. Try to kill him. And if you do that, we didn't have the authority. There's nobody there that had that authority, but he doesn't know that. That's just the way it is. Go out there, hit that dude, and come back. So we sent him the weed line. The guy doesn't even know how to read. The problem with him was, like the homie that was in the county with him said, hey, the Vatos got heart. The case was his brother, but they both got convicted. He said the Vato's slow, but he's got to get in front of who he needs to get in front of in order to fix that. Meantime, he's gonna get served everywhere he goes. So we told him, go out there, do that, woo-woo. And he told us, I don't know how to read. Can you just tell me? So we whispered it to him, as best we could, and he was like, hey, I don't understand why I got rushed in the cell and why I got whacked on the yard, and I've never done nothing wrong. That's not my case. So we told him, get in front of who you need to get in front of. Go do what we're asking you to do on CR and spit for yours. And he was like, I got it. So he left to C facility, and I don't remember him coming back. But like I said, there was 2 ad SEGs at the time, and there was an overflow in New Folsom. So it's 5 and 6 block, and then you had 7 block. One of the sections was overflow, but nobody wanted to go to that section, that building if you could. Really, everybody wanted to be in 5 block. That's where I was at. And again, this was in 1996, right? Now let's flash forward to 2000. After the riot in Pelican Bay, everybody slammed down in their cells. I'm sitting on my bunk. My cellie is by the sink. Now, whenever the pod door opens, it doesn't matter if it's a side pockets or the pod door to come in the front. If any of them doors pop, it's the responsibility of at least one person in the cell, if you're Raza, to get up and see what's going on, who's out there, you have to be aware. You don't want to ever get caught slipping. So like I said, I was on my bunk and I'm facing the TV and I hear the slider open. That's the front door to come into the pod. My cellie's at the sink, so I'm not tripping. And my cellie looks, right? And he tells me, hey, a new Vato just got here. Raza. And I was like, all right. And I told him, jam him up. So my cellie's telling him, and for those of you that aren't aware, the on the main line of Pelican Bay, the front door is like a cheese grater, right? It's all holes, metal door with holes. So my cellie's like, hey, Raza. Hey, Raza. Hey, check it out real quick. And then he tells me, he's like, hey, Holmes, this Vato's not even turning around. I said, hold up, man. I get up and I walk over to the front door, to the cell door, and I look. The Vato had his back to us, right? But like I said, he had been my neighbor. And when I saw him, I told my cellie, that's Veneno. He goes, how the fuck do you know that his back is to? I said, it doesn't matter. I said, that's Veneno. And I said, look, this is what time it is with him. This is where he's from. And my cellie was like, that's my area. He goes, I'm going to holler at him. I said, turn the light off and leave it off. I said, the Vato's slow, so he probably won't recognize me. I said, but I'm not going to even look at him or nothing. He goes, all right. I told my cellie, he's going to have, if it's him, he's going to have a slash across his throat. I said, one way to find out if he cleaned it up is ask him, hey, why you got that scar right there? I said, if he tells the truth, or, something happened, but I cleaned it up, then we're going to have to just, take whatever steps. I said, if he lies about it, then we know he hasn't cleaned it up, and we're going to have to get him. So my cellie's like, all right, turns the light off. I go sit down, and he's like, hey, Raza. Finally, he turns around, and he's like, what's up? And hey, can you come here real quick? Come to the cell. My cellie says, hey, Holmes, what do they call you? He says, Veneno. And he says, where Waterloo's from. And my cellie's like, all right, homie, I'm from who? And he's, oh, yeah, you're homie from the area, this and that. Trying to make him feel comfortable. And as they're chopping it up, my cellie's like, hey, look, we don't really have much because of this. We're at war right now. We're on lockdown, but we'll get at the homies and try to get you a little care package together, you know, so you have at least, you know, your hygiene, your cosmetics and stuff, you know. He's like, all right, yeah. And he's like, oh shit, hey, Holmes, hey, you know, not to sound disrespectful or nothing, homie, but hey, what is that you have on your throat? And Veneno said, when I was in New Folsom, the Norteños whacked me. They got me. They caught me slipping. And my Sally said, oh, the Norteños did that. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, oh, that's fucked up, eh? Make sure you're not slipping around here, Holmes, because, you know, we're at war right now, this and that. Woo woo. Then the Hura rattled the door. So my Sally was like, hey, what cell they put you in? All right. He's like, all right, we'll try to get something together for you. So Vato takes off. Veneno takes off to his cell. So we pass word around to every cell. We're all strapped. It's wartime. We're all strapped. And we sent word around to everybody. This Vato right here, this is what time it is with him, you know? And we made it clear. This is what time it is. This is what's expected. You Vatos do what you feel you got to do. And it was a trip. It's a trip how things work. The next day, they ran canteen for the first time. And that night, they ran phone calls, right? So me and my Sally came out for phone call. And when we came out, I told my Sally, hey, get ready, because if they pop the door, we're going to run in the cell. All right, so we're out there, boom. Our phone call's over, so then we walk over to where the drinking fountain is, right? Because he should have been next. Veneno should have been next. And the Hura's like, take it back to your cell. And we're like, hold on, we're getting water. And the Hura said, get the water in your cell. I got to release the next phone calls. And we're like, release them. We're all homies. So they wound up releasing the cell. It wasn't his cell, right? It was two other cells. Well, one other cell, two other Vatos in the cell, Raza. And I remember it was two Vatos from Orange County. And me and my Sally were in the cell like, he's got to be next, eh? It has to be him. So we're chopping it up in the cell, just waiting, watching. The two homies from Orange County are on the phone. One of them, I guess, didn't get through, so he just stayed posted in the day room with his Sally, as he should, right? The other Vato was on the phone the whole time. Then they ran the next phone call. Veneno was in the cell by himself, so Veneno comes out by himself. In the phones in Pelican Bay's day room, there's where the tier is for the cells, and then it drops down to another day room. There's a second tier, first tier, and then there's stairs that go down, drop down, and there's like a concrete area where you can sit down, and there's a phone on the C-section side, well, on this side, and then there's a phone on this side, but you got to sit. And the stairs to go down to the bottom part of the day room are next to both phones. Veneno comes out and he goes straight to the phone closer to like the A-side, right? Now, this is a 180. I'm just saying that side because A-section would be that way, right? He gets on the phone and the two Vatos from Orange County come straight to my cell. These guys were young, man. That was a dumb rookie move. But they come and ask me, hey, Holmes, so you know about this, right? And I said, yeah. I said, it's legit, right? They said, it's legit, right? I said, this is who's involved, eh? Gave him a couple names and told him, one of them's in the oil right now. So if they ask, it came from me and can be verified by this other person. I said, but if you're worried about it, go back in your cell. Me and my Sally will take care of it. And they're like, we're not going back to the cell. They walked back down into the day room. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've always wondered who was Veneno on the phone with. And I've always hoped it wasn't his mom or his daughter or something. You know what I mean? because them two vatos from Orange County, they got on that dude, Holmes, and they whacked Veneno. I mean, they were hitting him in his face, his neck, his chest, his back. We had a female cop in the tower. She had to be a new cop. She panicked. She didn't know what the fuck to do. She didn't let the cops, the floor cops in. They're pounding on the window. They're screaming at her. It was chaos. But that's what happens. I doubt Veneno was ever smart enough to fix what was going on with him. And like I said, everybody that knew his case said it wasn't him, it was his brother, but he got convicted of it. So that's another prison story for you guys, man. Real life shit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment either way. Share the channel. And if you're not subscribed, do me a favor and subscribe. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.